For just a minute, I ask you to close your eyes. Think of all the times you have shared meals at your dining room or kitchen table. Let the memories flood back. What meals do you remember? Are they of a recent dinner shared with family and friends? Or are they memories of your childhood? Or of your children growing up? Or of loved ones no longer here? Take a few moments. Recall the memories. And just remember. When we prepare our foods and set our dinner table, we are taking part in an ancient ritual as old as humanity. We are breaking bread together. Michael Abbassera wrote in a book published in 1978 called Cooking with Care and Purpose. He said, "Life is in the kitchen, where pans and pots, warm-colored, hang upon brick-colored walls, waiting to participate in the feast. Flames are the makers of our joys and pain. Wooden spoons are dancers that deeply stir the dish which will satisfy the insatiable guest. Knives cut green leaves for the bloodstream, and boards are for kneading grain into the ancestral bread." Abbassera understood the importance of the kitchen in the home. It was to him the heart. Everything begins here. In my home, the kitchen has always been the center of activity. If my kitchen could talk, it would recall the laughter and conversations around the table for the past 24 years. It would tell you the story of Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving celebrations, and the blowing out of candles on so many birthdays, and the laughter that followed as I always used the candles that relight. It's corny, but it's part of our family lore. Or the bell that we ring on holidays to invite those who are no longer here to join at the holiday meal. Today, when my friends gather at my home, 3/4 of the time, we're in the kitchen. At the end of every celebration at my or my children's homes, there has always been a wonderful meal. I don't know that the food is 5-star quality, but I know that there's always joy in the kitchen. The meal can be simple, but the love put in the preparation makes it a fine dining experience. This is what the chef in the first story I told had to learn. Sharing a meal does more than feed us physically. It feeds us emotionally and draws us together. Preparing food together can create memories that will be passed on for years to come. When we eat together, there are conversations that take place. We are connected as we talk about our days and what is happening in our lives. Friendships begin when we get together and share a meal. These are sacred times in our lives. Think of some of the best meals you've ever eaten. Were they with friends and family? Sharing a meal makes the food taste better, doesn't it? In some countries, such as France, mealtime is treated as sacred. In Mexico, townspeople share their meals together with friends on the town square or in the park. In Cambodia, villagers spread out colorful mats and share their meals, much like a potluck here in the United States. They understand the sacredness of community. In 1950, Elizabeth Dowd, who was recognized as a sort of soul-stirring American culinary evangelist, published a book of Mediterranean food. She wrote that great food is simple. She proposed that meals didn't have to come from fancy or trendy restaurants, and that enjoying basic meals with loved ones makes for the best eating. Each year, as families and friends gather for Thanksgiving, the scent of roasting turkey and pies fill the rooms, and it triggers memories of Thanksgivings past. Food has the power to evoke memories and feeds our souls. It is much more than nutrients. Food helps us celebrate the passage of time, linking the past with the present and creating a communion of love. Food has been the source of spiritual nourishment throughout the ages. It has played a major part in the gathering of people and is considered to be endowed with a mystical significance. That is why holy days are often celebrated with rituals involving food. The Passover meal has been celebrated since the Jews' exodus from Egypt. The first night of Passover is marked by a Seder meal, which includes prayer and readings from Scripture. Food is important because it symbolizes the beliefs commemorated by the Jews. During Ramadan, which commemorates the time the Quran was first revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, healthy men and women forego food and drink from sunrise to sundown as an act of compassion for the hungry. When the fast is broken, they celebrate with a multi-course meal. At the end of Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr is celebrated as a great feast. Easter, the most holy Christian holiday, celebrates the resurrection of Jesus. The meal on Easter Sunday is always a huge celebration, with families and friends gathering for a huge dinner and the children having an Easter egg hunt. And Catholics, Lutherans, and Episcopalians receive the bread and wine of the Eucharist at all their masses. The native peoples honor the cycle of seasons with great feast, as do pagans as they celebrate the seasons and Sabbaths in the circle of the year. And finally, today, we celebrate two religious holidays: the Christian feast day of Michaelmas, or the feast of St. Michael and all angels, and Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. Both will be celebrated with a feast. For Rosh Hashanah, families will gather this evening to celebrate a meal which will include challah bread and fruit. For Michaelmas, there will be a celebration of the harvest, and possibly at the dining table there will be dessert made of blackberries, because it is said that this is the day St. Michael tossed the devil out of heaven and he fell in a blackberry patch. It is now autumn. In the next 3 months, we will celebrate Halloween, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, and the New Year. Each is rich with tradition. No matter the content or the amount of food on the table, families will gather around, say their prayers, and make new memories that will carry them into their future. What memories will you make?
We human beings need nourishment to sustain our bodies, and we need nourishment to sustain our heart and soul. Across cultures and religious traditions, humans create communion rituals to remind us of our universal need for food to sustain the body and for community to help us remember we are not isolated beings. Through our communion with one another in ritual and in deep human connection, we find meaning and joy in life. When we share this bread and this cup, we are professing our belief in life and in the interdependence of all peoples. We share this bread we share this cup.
Spirit of justice, way of love, forever absent, forever full, come to this table to partake of your presence through the fruits of the earth, to share the power by the work of our hands, to reap the harvest everlasting in the human heart. Release our burdens where they overflow, and by grace let us be servants to one another, bringers of peace to all the earth, and bearers of joy and love to all earth's children. Amen. Therefore we covenant with one another to work so that our bodies are broken no more, to practice peace until all the people can dance on their land, beneath the sun, eating their bread with joy and drinking their cup with merry heart. As we do now, let us work together towards peace in the hope that one day all shall rejoice.
We speak of love. Sometimes we are loving, sometimes we are not. We speak of peace. Sometimes we are peaceful, sometimes we are not.
We seek community
and may find conformity and alienation. We seek integrity and may find ourselves fragmented. Sometimes we are lonely, sometimes we are lost.
May I know
my own heart. May I be held by the eternal. May I be guided by my own and others' wisdom. May I be aware of the mysteries around me and know that I am part of that beauty and of that wisdom.
From the dawn of history, human beings have been given thanks with offerings of bread and wine, beer and barley cakes, rice and mead, to mark their independence of the earth and on the powers that sustain it.
We believe in knowledge, for there is no help in ignorance. We believe in wisdom, for without it humankind surrenders to the blind forces of falsehoods and prejudice.
We believe in compassion, for revenge and hatred destroy the spirit. We believe in community, for no person's potential can be realized if one lives as an island. We believe in love, for it's life's most creative gift.
Let us say together, to celebrate our community,
and the Spirit which sustains all. The breaking of bread is a sign of our community. The sharing of the wine is a mark of our communion. We share this food and drink as a visible sign beyond the spoken word. We partake of this food and drink as a sign of our covenant with all humanity, as an expression of our sacred concern for one another, as a symbol of our commitment to live in peace with all beings. As we prepare this table of life and unity, may we join our hearts with those who have loved the world so much that they have been willing to live and die on its behalf. Let us give thanks for life. Let our hearts be given wing.
Let us seek peace.
We give thanks for the fruit of the vine and for the wheat which has come from the earth and which has been changed by human hands. May this sharing be nourishment for those who receive it, for the blessing of body and spirit, for fruitfulness in good works, and for the sustaining of our lives in this community of faith. May our lives be transformed through the sharing of these gifts, that we may be strengthened in our work to bring about love, peace, and justice in the world. Let us break bread together. Amen.